folks, welcome to Heart and Hand Extra, the second weekly free show from Heart and Hand. This is when we look back at anything that's happened since our last pod this week, and quite a lot has, and preview the fixture, quite a big one. So, had to go for one of the big beasts, in a good way, of the Heart and Hand team. It's Mr. Cameron James Bell. Hello.
Good afternoon, David. How are you?
I am doing well, Cameron, because Rangers reached the Europa League after putting themselves into what appeared to be easy street. We did it the hard way, as we tend to have to do under these circumstances, but Rangers prevailed with 9 men in Russia holding off the challenge of Ufa to take our place. So let's go back to the game. First of all, first 20 minutes, it's quite difficult to assess them, Cammy, because we couldn't see them due to RTV problems at that point.
Well, personally, I thought that was the best 20 minutes we played.
It was, though. That's the thing. It was. I watched it back.
It was nice and relaxing. I mean, you couldn't see anything.
No.
But from what I saw, we definitely played well.
I've spoken to Rangers this morning, and they say that the RTV issue wasn't a capacity issue. It wasn't that they weren't expecting the right amount of people in or whatever. It was an external supplier issue. But, of course, it doesn't reflect well on people that are offering the service, even if it is something that's out with your control. But they are aware of the issue. It should never happen again, is what they're saying. But yeah, very disappointing to lose the first 20 minutes of the match. But as I say, I've watched it back, and we did play really well, mate. We have, and scored a beauty from Ovi Ajaria. I thought Ovi Ajaria had a great game all in, not just his attacking play at the start. He scored one, he almost got another with a lovely bit of play. And I thought he was, at that point, the best player in the park. He was dominating proceedings for us.
Ajaria's really come onto a game at the moment. I know he's been recognised by the manager, but no, he really is doing very, very well for us. I wonder if I hadn't bothered watching his goal against Motherwell, because it's almost like a carbon copy, but this one's probably even more directly put into the kind of top right hand corner for me. It
was a better hit. The keeper should have saved the one at Motherwell, but he had no chance with this one.
Yeah, no, it was. I mean, it's all cliche and it's unstoppable, but I think he's created that chance himself. He's finished it with aplomb, and I think most of us, when we're talking about Ajaria, had said he's good, he's getting better. Well, he's actually continued in that ascendancy. I mean, obviously, Kyle Lafferty for me will always be the man of the match, whether he plays or not. But Ajaria is definitely growing his stock, shall we say.
I think so. And you're seeing now what we'd said about him initially was he looks good, looks neat and tidy, he's putting a shift in, but we need more from an attacking midfielder when it comes to actually attacking, and we're seeing that now. So again, we need to remember he's very young into his professional career, his first team career anyway, and he's growing into the role, and as you say, the manager picked him out. And at that point, I wouldn't say we were in easy street, but the game was won, and the team that looked more likely to score were us. Ufa just weren't getting in anywhere. Round about the half an hour mark, that started to change. They got in behind us a couple of times with balls over the top, and from one of these they scored their goal. John Flanagan, who didn't have a good night, he didn't play well at all, and obviously we'll come to the second half, but he got caught. Some debate from some fans, they thought maybe Tav was playing him on, but having watched it a few times, I think Tav doesn't play him on. I think the linesman is out of position, and from his angle he may well have thought that Tav Amir was playing him on, but I really don't believe he was. But even so, still bad defending from Rangers. They allow another ball over the top, don't learn from the earlier ones. The Ufa winger, who was our best player, streaks through and slots the ball away, one each. Even at that, I wasn't particularly worried at this stage, Cammy. I thought, okay, they've got one, different tie now, but equally I think we're more than capable of going and getting another.
It's that, I think that for me is kind of what that felt like, that roller coaster of emotions. Of before the game I said if we score early doors, certainly in the first half, I think, the tie is over. I think the fact that they threatened a couple of times prior to the goal, for me, probably turned my arse into buttons a little bit. And then when he scored, I was like, right, okay, let's just, see how we go on with that. And obviously, as we'll come on to, there was other dynamics about to shift as well. But even had the game remained at that, I think we could have seen it out. But obviously, we're about to go into why it didn't stay like that.
36 minutes, ball up to lone striker Alfredo Morelos. He outmuscles his defender and gets away with the ball. The ref pulls him up for foul. Alfredo clearly doesn't think it's a foul, kicks the ball away. Stonewall yellow card. I don't think any complaints about that one. Agreed?
Yep. Yeah, totally. Yeah.
You know you can't do it, especially not in a tie that you are leading in Europe, because the referees are going to say you're time wasting. I don't think that was his intention. I think it was frustration, but that it's a standard booking. I'd expect it the other way round. And on the way back, continues a discussion with the referee. Now, there's then some contention, and I'll tell you my theory about what caused the second yellow. During this, Alfredo does walk away from him. He's been yipping at the referee, and the referee's noting everything down, preparing to book him. He kind of raises his hand, and I think more in a sort of, for fuck's sake, just go away kind of gesture. But I think the ref thinks he's giving him the finger, because the ref immediately stiffens, his face flushes with anger, and he immediately just produces 2 yellows very quickly, and he's raging. And when Rangers players run up to him and say, what the hell is that for? He's adamant, and I think the ref got it completely wrong, because I think he saw something that didn't happen, and then issued two yellows. However, the other side of that coin for me is, I do think the ref was wrong. I think he couldn't wait to send him off, all that stuff, all true, and I think he's made a mistake. But for those people who might think, you're just defending Morelos here, I'm not. Morelos had engineered a situation, accidentally, but he had, in which he could get sent off. Because if the free kick's just given and he walks away, it's all done. And that's the end of it. Instead, petulance, and it is, there's nothing else you can call it, it's petulance. And things spiral out of control. It's not what he wants to happen, obviously. But he places himself in danger. And in the end, it could very well have been us who paid the price.
I think so it's difficult, because I think as a fan you're watching that, and I think so the reason as to why that yellow card is given, the official reason, is because it's delaying the restart of play. And football 101, if you don't have the ball you can't restart, and I get that, right? And we've all seen the tactics that stops that, like the whole standing in front of the ball if they're trying to take a free kick, holding the ball with, holding it under your arm or whatever, and then not releasing it, or walking 10 yards, then dropping it, or, it's gamesmanship. The reason as to why it's frustrating is because we're in a conflict when we talk about this type of thing with Alfredo Morelos, because if you want Alfredo to remove that temper and that heat, for want of a better term, from his game, you'll not have the same striker. You'll not have the same guy who causes defensive players problems. He can't play and he can't be effective, however, if he's going to sit in a booking. And if he's going to get a booking, it has to be for something worthwhile. That's not worthwhile. That's worthwhile when it's the 92nd minute. It's not worthwhile when, the game is... It could potentially go either way, even though I do agree with your early synopsis, we are comfortable. We'll never know, David. The referee's never going to go out and say exactly why he gave him the second yellow. It'll be for dissent or something. We don't know if it's a hand gesture. We don't know if he said something. I have seen referees make that type of decision, and that kind of the change in the kind of body language that you spoke about earlier on, when I've heard particular words coming out. And even as footballers, listen, I've refereed games and all that, but even as footballers, you just know there's some words you just don't say to referees, you just don't use them. Ironically, cheat being one of them, rather than the other C word that I'm sure we can imagine. But this is where, for Morelos, I feel a bit unjust with him, because an experienced referee at that stage understands that he is frustrated, understands he's kicked the ball away, understands that you've just cautioned him, and a decent referee at that stage should say, look, calm down. If you don't calm down, you're going off the park. So just chill out, take it easy, take it from there. Because you're never ever going to see a player be booked, and when they're all het up in that emotion, the caution immediately calms them down. It doesn't. Usually at that stage, and I know that on the Patreon site in the post-match last night, James Forrest made that very kind of clear point around, maybe some of the players should have grabbed them and taken away. I get that. Right? I do understand the point that James is making. But you need to be able to then say, okay, what's the benefit here of me continuing to have this dialogue with the referee? And now it becomes a problem, because he has to, even if he gets away one booking at that stage, it curtails what he can do for the rest of the game, because his game's about physicality. It's about getting up in your face, causing problems, all that kind of stuff. the whole point of having a caution is that you start to calm that down a bit. And this is where with Morelos, he just needs to be smarter. And I don't want to see him lose that temperament, because I think it's one of the best assets he has. He just needs to be smarter about when he's doing it, and that's maybe maturity, that's maybe an age, experience, etc. But hopefully we'll see that progress as obviously our time with him goes on.
I don't want to see him lose the aggression, it's the petulance. And I think there is a difference between the two. You cannot go in a huff when you get a decision against you. You just can't. No good can come of it. And as we saw yesterday, something very bad could come of it. I think you can be in the position, which I am, is that yes, I blame the ref, but I also blame the player. I think that there is culpability on both sides. And I know that for some people it was either entirely Morelos or it was entirely the referee. I kind of fall in the middle where I think a lot of people...
I totally agree. The first one's his fault, the second one's the referee's fault.
Yeah, I think the ref absolutely could have told him, calm down, right? You know, you're losing the plot, this is stupid, don't do this. But chose not to. But equally, just don't put yourself in that position. Keep the head, really. And he's going to be rewarded with a new contract. Figures being bandied about around about £30,000 a week. If he's going to be a senior player and paid as a senior player, he'll need to act like a senior player, age and temperament notwithstanding. But that kind of changed the tenor of the game. Between the goal and that, Rangers looked a little bit shell-shocked, and Ufa smelled blood. Their fans got right up for it, and for about 10 minutes till half-time they were totally in command. Missed a great chance right on half-time, headed at the back post. Into the second half though, I was still confident, Cammy. I just thought, we've done this before. The gaffer will have them reorganised. All we need to do is not lose 2 goals. We don't need to go and win the match. I'm still got faith in us. And Ufa came right out at us. Rangers almost made it 2-1, which would have killed the tie completely. I think Ryan Kent with a sensational run ended up with a shot that brought a brilliant save from the goalkeeper. Just a minute or so after that though, Ufa missed a glorious chance when probably the only mistake Niko Katic makes that night. He allows his man to turn him, to get away from him and turn him. Guy's got the whole goal to him, but he puts it past the post. And at that stage I'm thinking, okay, that's a bad chance, that'll get to them, they'll know they should have scored there. And then John Flanagan, who, as I say, hadn't played well, picked up a booking after 9 minutes. He gets booked for, look, you're the ref, I'll be intrigued to hear your take on it. I thought it was a meat and potatoes aerial challenge. I thought he leapt for the ball. Okay, his arm was up, if you want to use that as a criticism. I don't think he elbows the guy. I don't think he leads with his arm, any of that stuff. I don't even think it's a foul, if I'm being honest. He wins the ball, and the ref toddles over and seems to be gets a free kick, and then goes, I might as well book him now, I'm here, I've ran over. Gives him a yellow card. Rangers reduced to 9 men. At that point I shat myself, Cammy.
Yeah, listen, I think this is what I'm saying to you about referees managing the players, not the game. And that's a two-way door, however, because if I was Flanagan at that point, I suppose, right, so we'll do the referee first. The problem you've got with this is, if the referee deems that to be a dismissal due to a second caution, then, again, his body language did not suggest that, because I would describe his approach in terms of coming up to Flanagan as very relaxed, let's put it like that. And then it's as if somebody has said to him, oh, by the way, you probably should send this guy off, because that's, why not? Do you know what I mean? YOLO.
Yeah.
And they're just like, for fuck's sake. And the thing is, if, as you say, it was a bad challenge, if he leads in with his arm and, goes into cause intent or serious damage or whatever, then, the referee, typically, as you've seen, straight onto it, on the spot, look, this is why you're going off, this is, and he's walking through the decision. Other side of that coin is, I don't know if at that point Flanagan twigs that this referee has got some serious questions regarding his capability. And I hate using that cliche of, you give the referee a decision to make, but when you've got a referee who has made some of these errors already within the game, does it allow itself to be the case that Flanagan then goes in, makes a challenge like that, and then puts himself into that position? Because I, personally speaking, don't think there's anything wrong with the challenge. I don't. But then sometimes you have to be a little bit extra cautious if you're then playing against a referee who will give decisions against you very easily. Now, that maybe is something different. But he still has to make the challenge. That's his job.
That's the thing. I can't look. Had he been reckless, I would say that was. I mean, we've said it with Morelos. We're not looking here to just shift all the blame off of Rangers players, but I really think John Flanagan's got every right to make that. I mean, I don't think it's a foul. Never mind a booking.
Well, again, no, David. If he doesn't make that and then he scores from it, we're raging. Blaming John Flanagan.
Exactly. He's got to go up for it. I think he goes up and competes fairly for it. And I also think that, look, human nature, common sense, all these things that we ask referees to show. Be aware that if you've already sent someone off and the team are now down to 10 men, the second yellow I think has to be absolutely non-debatable for someone. And I would hope that referees would realise that, and just from a sporting contest fairness point of view, by all means give the foul, but you cannot, I think, then give another yellow card unless it's a total, look, you've got to go, you've sived them down, you've pulled somebody back as they've been running, I can't let you away with that one. Whereas, again, it's the difference between a referee who's looking to manage the game, keep players on the park where possible, and a ref that can't wait to send players off.
Your issue with this, so we've made the kind of point. So the reason as to why Koulibaly never played last night was because McGinn, in the game against St Mirren at Ibrox, steamed into him after Koulibaly went by him and he got a yellow card. But this was after he'd already went in on a kidney height challenge on Katic. And the point I made at that time was he should have been booked for that tackle on Katic, in my opinion. And then if he then makes the decision to tackle Koulibaly like that and cause him the injury, which has caused him to miss games, then it's a dismissal and you can have no qualms about that. The whole purpose of issuing these cautions is you have deemed that first foul to be excessive. And I don't even know, maybe this is me, blue tinted specs, I don't even know if Flanagan's first yellow card was that much of an excessive challenge.
I think it was harsh for 9 minutes.
Yeah, but the thing is though that your whole point of doing that is if you're a referee and you're delivering that caution, you're then saying it's excessive, you can't do it again. Like, that's it. It's as simple as that. So you now know where the marker is, you know where the line is, you can't cross it. If you cross it again, then you're off. That's it. It's just, it's black and white as it gets. I don't even think Flanagan's was that much in the first booking. And the second booking, for me, the foul is, I don't even think it's a foul. I just think he just goes for the ball and, it doesn't look great, but then you show me a perfect aerial challenge where both people going for it, somebody doesn't collide into one another, it's just going to happen. But anyway.
Like I say, I think you've got to be certain in those circumstances. 25 minutes to play. We are in Russia, up against Ufa. We have suspicions about the referee maybe having taken possession of a brand new car that week from a mysterious benefactor. And I thought, I'll be honest, this is going to take a fucking miracle. And the RTV commentator, Nick Thompson, said, this is going to be special if we do it from here. Rangers, again, adapt. Andy Halliday comes on and goes into the sort of left-back area. Rangers quite rightly switched to a 4-4-0, which is essentially a 6-2 by the end, and then proceed to defend as though their lives depend on it. Katic and Goldson were absolutely magnificent because Ufa did the right thing. They just encircled us. That's what it was like. They had an overload on both flanks and they got men in the box and hit us with cross after cross after cross. And up, the same two heads popped up all the time. In front of them, Ovia Jaria and Ryan Kent battled like hell, and Kent, every time he got the ball, just tried to get out of the box and break it up for a bit. Lafferty was running around trying to stop them. Halliday, I thought, was great. And then when they did occasionally get through, they had Shagger to deal with. And those 8 guys are absolute fucking heroes because it was sheer fitness, hard work, and balls that got us through that.
Watching it last night kind of reminded me of, it's like the Roman centurion, the battle positions when they
form a square,
they do like the phalanx and all that.
Yeah,
kind of stuff
form a square. Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
Like that.
But the thing is though, the reason as to why that works and why it worked last night was you have Goldson and Katic controlling every aspect of that. Whether it's telling Lafferty you're going to come back and do this, whether it's trying to get crosses shut down, whether it's stopping balls coming through the middle. And you're absolutely right, those 8 guys had to protect Alan McGregor, but we've also had this additional security that if McGregor did get tested, he has got the ability to produce world-class saves. So I think so, and I do want to kind of come back to Andy Halliday just for a second. There's a point to this where when I watch all of this and I think about the fact that we're going back to Baku, where Andy Halliday was put out on loan, and he's going to be part of a team, and he's not a squad player, part of the team that is going to get us to the Europa League final.
Yeah,
he doesn't deserve anything more than that as the best possible praise I can give to him, because he is coming in and he's proven his worth. And Halliday has got every right to be able to turn around and stick his feet up or do whatever, or run his contract or whatever. But by Christ, you can see what Gerrard sees in him, and it's just giving him a brand new lease of life. And I can't emote enough how much it makes me happy to see Andy Halliday getting what he deserves.
Oh, I heart him. Last night he was great. I really was. And you might think, oh, you're piling it on a little bit, but I think Gerrard likes him because he does what he's told. And last night that was exactly what we needed. He got taken aside by Gerrard and Beale. They said, we need you to do this, this and this. And he went on and he did all of it. And that was it. Didn't try anything fancy. And the clock had still 25 minutes to play. And it was weird because I don't know whether the clock was broken or not, because it said 25 minutes. It actually took 3 years to get through it. People have been married and divorced, babies have been born, grown up and gone to high school in the time that it seemed to take that match to end. And that wasn't without its scares. Alan McGregor's made an absolute wonder stop at one point. They've had chances, they've had headers that have gone over or gone wide. In the 89th minute they hit the post, and then in injury time in the 93rd, the referee, I think, thinking, I might look as though I've been bought here, disallows a goal from them. Maybe soft, but considering the red cards we've had, I'm not gonna feel bad about it. And in the end, Rangers actually do better defensively with 9 men than they did with 11, and don't concede. At the end, the rush of emotion, not only from the players and the management team, but from everyone around the world watching, was extraordinary. I was a sweaty mess after. I felt emotional because it was a feeling that has long been missing from Rangers' performances the last few seasons, and that was pride. I was proud of them. I thought, you know what, you went out there and you fought for everything for us, and they deserved it. Over the 8 matches, Rangers have been the better side in each of their ties, and they deserve to be in the Europa League group stages.
You can't, even, and it's difficult to find them, but the most rational of Celtic fan couldn't disagree with that. Because, and I kind of put a tweet up about this yesterday, it would be Rangers unless we do it the hard way. And, everyone would love it to be the case that we batter them 5-0 at home and the away leg is a formality. I think we would be sitting here on this podcast if we had went out going, yes, the referee was shite, yes, we had problems, yes, we should have beaten them by more at home, but by God, we gave it a good try. And you do that, the stiff upper lip thing. Whereas last night when you were watching it, as the minutes went by, my fear turned into confidence, turned into, I suppose, a bit of reward, as in just desserts, if that makes sense. As in, these guys are doing this, and they deserve to get through. They deserve to be able to get into that group stage. And do you know what? And listen, the financial bonus aside and everything else as well, and as you guys mentioned on the post-match in Patreon last night, the prestige, like the actual pride of being involved in that tournament, seeing ourselves this morning getting pulled out of that draw for the first time in 7 years is just worth it for me. Whether we win every group stage game, whether we lose every group stage, it doesn't matter. This for me is that next step of this really horrendously long journey of being able to get back to where we deserve to be. And last night, what you saw for 25 minutes of that game, and by Christ, if RTV ever want to do a 20-minute blackout again, try and do it for that period rather than the whole thing.
Oh no, that would have been, I don't know if I could have coped. I was watching it in a bet nap at that point, though, a tiny wee screen. And then I noticed that the bet nap was 2.5 minutes ahead of RTV, so I went on that at the end because I couldn't cope with, I thought I need to know And then at the end, luckily I was able to go back and just relax and watch the disallowed goal on Arthur and go, sorry, he's going to blow up for that. it was different.
Well, that was it. And then I thought, well, watching those guys and being able to see the amount of effort they put into that as well, they absolutely deserve it. They deserve to get into the group stages. They deserve to go to the places that are going to be going to. They deserve the full houses that European nights back at Ibrox will bring back on a consistent basis. It's just, again, like you say, it feels like a validation for some of the shite that we've had to put up with. And Strider made a brilliant point when he talks about, this time last year, manager was in a bush. And look at the progression, look where we've come from, and I think that for me is just the biggest part.
I must admit, Cammy, that you said it was stiff upper lip. That wasn't the only part of me was stiff at the end. But,
when it was like 60 seconds after the game had finished.
Yes, absolutely. And a great night. The players travelled back. They got back last night because obviously time difference, and were met by hundreds at Glasgow Airport, which was just a fantastic gesture from all the Bears that went down there. And the draw took place this morning, and Rangers came out of pot 4. And the teams that we've been drawn against are Villarreal, Rapid Vienna and Spartak Moscow. So some great famous European names in there. Cammy, trips to Spain and Vienna will be very pleasant. Not a bad draw because, look, Villarreal will be the favourites. And, the other two teams will fancy their ability to get to get second. But so do I, and so should Rangers. And, look, as you say, we could lose every game. But I doubt it. I think that if we get our home form right, I think we've got a chance of getting through that group. I really do.
There's a point to what we saw in this last tie over the 2 legs, David, where there's so many lessons about what we do and how we improve, and actually differentiating between the standards of our opponents from foreign and domestic opponents, and how we have to adapt to that and how we have to change our game accordingly. So I am very comfortable as a team they will take those lessons and learn from them. So all of this experience that this will bring us it will just improve us. It will just continue to see us progress. It will just continue to see us move up a notch, develop, etc. And I think that there's no team in that group, Villarreal included, who I fear. Especially not at home, but not away. And I think for me, that's where we're lucky with some of the groups. Don't get me wrong. I think there's a group where is it who's the group? Is it Inter Milan and Chelsea and all that? I forget. But there's an absolute beauty of a group which I thought we were going into. Thankfully, I missed that. But no, those trips as well, pretty accessible for the Bears, I think. So Austria and Spain, Russia we've done already. Might be difficult to do a repeat journey back there for some guys, but listen, no matter where they go, there'll be thousands of fans there cheering them on.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I did see some Bears saying, we could have had Lazio, that would have been great, and I'm like, yeah, but we would have been shut down the day after. Can you imagine 10,000 Bears in Rome? I mean, it would have been an amazing trip. Yeah, it would have been an amazing trip, but they would, even I accept that the day after that the governing bodies would have to shut us down and to say, what you did. And we'd all go, yeah, we did do that.
Well, as someone who may or may not have put washing up liquid and washing powder in fountains when we went away to European trips before, David, I would have enjoyed having a crack at the Trevi Fountain.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think it's the Trevi Fountain, it's a bit of Rome that I'm worried about.
No, but I think other parts of it, yes, might have been interesting to see the Bears enjoy themselves there.
Yes, it certainly would have been, but who knows, maybe in later rounds. So all very exciting that is to look forward to. Now, we're on the last day of transfer deadline. Rangers have made 2 signings. Joe Worrell on loan from Nottingham Forest, centre-back that the gaffer had been after for a while, was raving about. And Eros Grezda, permanent signing, £2 million from Osijek, who must fucking hate us, by the way. We knock them out, we take their best 2 players. But he arrives, a winger, obviously with Jamie Murphy being out. Very exciting signing. We need a centre-back desperately. Joe Worrell, highly rated. The manager, as I say, spoke about seeing him at the Toulon tournament and having followed him since. Fell out of fashion a wee bit at Nottingham Forest, and we'll be hoping to kick-start up here. And Grezda, he said, is pacey, direct, skillful. Fans are going to love him. Good times.
Yeah, well, I was just reading a bit of kind of bio and prep for chatting to you today, and I didn't realise this, and please forgive my ignorance, but Worrell actually captained that team to the victory in the Toulon tournament, albeit under 17, but that's still massive experience. So yes, he's young, but he's definitely got some big exposure in terms of big games and all that kind of stuff as well. I think we kind of had to get into this move as soon as Jamie Murphy was injured, so we were looking at wingers as well. But prior to the Murphy injury, centre half for me was definitely an area that we had to be able to try and improve once we had signed Lafferty, because before that I would have said striker. Now centre half's been taken care of, and as I say, we'll just have to see what this lad can bring as well and see how we get on with him.
Rangers have intimated that they are looking to do a bit more business. I don't know what that means in terms of numbers or even positional sense. And Stephen Gerrard actually said it could go right to the wire. So by the time you come to listen to this, folks, you might know already whether or not Rangers have added in another. But they are certainly looking at the time of recording. Which leads us on to Sunday's match, Cameron, when Rangers will have to get themselves roused once again, because we travel on Sunday morning to the Valley of the Damned to take on the other half of the Old Firm. Now, always a big game, but given everything that's been going on, the significance to this is huge. The first thing that I think has to be stated is we have had a big game. We've had to play 10 men for 50 minutes and then a half an hour with 9 in Russia with the attendant travel. Adrenaline will kick in, and that is important, but it could be a factor if we're being honest with ourselves.
I think it will be. I do. I mean, you obviously had the potential for extra time and pens, but actually I think that the way how we had to get the result in Russia has meant that everyone's had to really push themselves, and I know that in the post-match and in today's conference as well, the manager's keen to stress it's about recovery, it's about getting back into that space, and he made mention, obviously, the fact that the double and triple training sessions in Spain pre-season have paid off, and listen, he's totally right, you can see that, but Sunday's game is going to be difficult for that. I don't know if the adrenaline that you mentioned means that what we do is we start and go all guns blazing. Do we build into it? What do we do? I think Rodgers will think that we will come at them pretty much straight out the gate, but he'll want us to tire, and then at that point he can start hitting us in the counter. So, listen, we don't play against Penn State FC and not want to win. It's just not in our DNA. I don't think a loss on Sunday's, the end of the season.
No.
I think you're right that it's been a tough game on Thursday night, and Sunday might be a bit too early for us to play such a high tempo game, which we can expect from them. They're in a little bit of a kind of meltdown, a little bit of a kind of crisis at the moment. Given their fans' obsession with us, they know that the way to get the hordes of evil back on track will be to give Rangers a good pumping. So they'll be motivated for it, and I think we just need to go there. We need to learn from the game, and I know it sounds daft, but this is what he is going to have to beat domestically if he wants to win the league. So go there, put out a terrific show, win if we can, draw if we need to. A loss is not the end of the world, and I would like Bales to try and remember that.
Yeah, I think that's important next week. As emotional and disappointed as we might be if we weren't to pick up anything, then I think we do have to remember the circumstances, and I don't think anyone can say Rangers aren't on the right track now. I think it's too obvious. And yes, I wish we did at least 2 more points so far this season, but still. Against that, though, for me, the key thing, the thing that's let Rangers down so often in so many recent Old Firm matches has been attitude. They've looked cowed, they've looked frightened, to dust down a cliche, they've looked beaten before a ball was kicked. Celtic approached these matches thinking, we're going to win, and Rangers approached these matches thinking, they're going to win. And that has been reflected not only in the results, which obviously were pretty humiliating, but the performances as well, which were worse. And I must say that that's something I have faith in this squad not to do. I don't believe they're going to go there and panic.
I've got more faith in the manager, and I mean that from a perspective of he will not allow probably the atmosphere of safety which I think our previous managers, caretaker or otherwise, have allowed. I think he will say, this is the biggest domestic game you will face. These are the opponents we need to beat if you want to win the league. This is where you need to deliver. You're not going to face a harder domestic game playing Celtic away from home. So this is your test. This is what you need to be able to go out and do. And I think, listen, you're totally right. And, we mentioned that after Old Firm games last year, they did look down. They didn't go out there thinking we can get something here. I'm certain some of them thought if we can keep this under a cricket score, then we've kind of won. Whereas I think as fans we thought that as well, but then players have to go and hold themselves accountable to that. And the biggest reason why we all get frustrated and so pissed off last time was because there just was that lack of accountability. There was that slight safety buffer where yes, it's Celtic, and yes, so we just expect to get beaten off them, so don't worry about it. Which no Rangers fan should ever find acceptable. But it was not the. I suppose really what I'm trying to say is it was not the loss, it was the manner of the performance that Rangers allowed before the final whistle went.
No, we never laid a glove on them, and they didn't have to break sweat, and it was embarrassing because you were watching a beaten side before the ball was kicked submit to their fate, and I hope and fervently believe that won't happen with the new manager. Now, we'll need to freshen the side up slightly. The one thing I think we can guarantee is we'll see Borna Barisic back in the side. I think that's a certainty. Some debate about whether or not, I doubt he'll go with the 3-5-2 again after last week. I think he will. I think we will see that again, but I think it's not going to be tried out at Parkhead. In which case there may be some suggestion that Kyle Lafferty could play out wide with Morelos at the head of so there's that possibility, but I think we will see the 4-3-3 in some description, Cammy.
Yeah, he has to go back to the 4-3-3. I'm not, and this is going to sound crazy because obviously we drew 3-3, but I'm not adverse to the 3-5-2. I think
I think there's potential there. Yeah,
I think it can work at home against a lower division side rather than playing Motherwell at Fir Park, where we did struggle last season. There's no doubts about that when we went to Motherwell last time. But listen, do you know what? Again, I'll come back to this. It's a lesson. It's about, okay, so let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater. If we're going to try again, how do we do it differently? All of that kind of stuff. I think he can play Lafferty out wide if he wants, but the key asset, the key tool that Lafferty will have is he'll be able to drive in from the wide outside and then start running at them and causing problems. And this Celtic team, that defence needs to be ran at. It needs to be attacked, if you will, because I think that's where you catch them in the heels, and I think that they can come undone pretty quickly. So if we can do that, then brilliant. And with Barisic back in, straight away you're talking about quality crosses coming in as well, which Lafferty's already been able to prove that he can convert, whether they come in from the left or right side.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do think we've got the players to hurt them. For me, the key issue, as always, will be the midfield battle, where Rangers have just completely lost it the last few seasons, and we'll need to be much more physically imposing in there and compete for everything, and also do it a bit higher up the park. If our back four are if our midfield three are spending the whole match right in front of our defence, then it's not a good sign. We need to make Celtic work at the other end, and we haven't done that for far too long. I think if you want to play a pressing game, then do so, but don't be afraid of where you are or who you're playing against. Yeah.
Because if that's a style of football that you can produce from, then do it no matter the opponent. Because if it works for you, why would you change it just because you happen to be playing a team who previously have beaten you, but they've not played this this Rangers team, I beg your pardon. They've not played against this manager. They've not played against this degree of optimism, of confidence, of hope, of that, probably that experience that these guys are getting playing alongside each other now. So if you have a good formula in there and you can see that getting results for you, do not change it just purely because of what's happened last season. Look at the game, look at the setup, make changes if required, but there's no point in going wholesale in terms of your changes if you feel that you can get a winning formula.
There'll be less Rangers fans at the game, obviously, given Rangers cutting Celtic's ticket allocation and them following in suit. Does that play a significant role in the outcome of the match, do you think? I
don't know if it'll play a significant role in the outcome of the match. It'll be disappointing to have less Rangers fans there in person to see us win. But I think ultimately the team have to be able to prove it, and whether or not there's going to be, obviously that cut allocation as well there. If we use that as an excuse, David, then that means it will guarantee beat them at Ibrox. So I don't think we can do that. I think that if anything, the team have seen with the over 1,000 people who were at Glasgow Airport last night, including some of our own Heart and Hand boys, which I'll give a wee shout out to. Well done to Chris and David and James. They will know how much Sunday means to them and how much it means to the fans. So it's really important that we go over there and at least play for the away support that did manage to get a ticket.
A wee note from the SLO folks, just to those who are going, is that because of the belief the cops have that there'll be a lot of fake tickets possibly kicking about just because of how in demand these tickets are, that there'll be a fairly stringent ticket check before the game, so please try to get there early to avoid getting caught in queues, and also that Rangers fans will be kept back for a bit until the Celtic support is dispersed, so please be aware of that. So that's pretty much it from us this week, Cammy. Just your final message to everyone before they get set for Old Firm weekend.
Enjoy it, as always. From everyone at Heart and Hand, stay safe, whether you're going to the game, whether you're out and about watching it and all that kind of stuff. Just see it as, if we can get a win, then it's another tick for Stevie G. If it's a loss, then don't worry about it, because we're not, we don't need to panic. It's about being able to see as to how well we're developing, and that's what we need to assess the performance against on Sunday.
All we need from our players on Sunday is 100%. Give it everything you've got, do your best. Make sure that you compete. Make sure that you let them know that this is a new Rangers. Make sure that you let them know that we're back. Get a win, and my goodness, you lot are going to be absolute heroes, and we'll come to the ground and feed you grapes for the next couple of weeks during the international break. But just give us everything. Just do what the manager wants you to do, because he wants it as well. Give us 110%, and if you give us that, I think we're good enough. I really do. So thank you very much for listening, folks. We will be back on Monday night with a full assessment of the game. Thank you to my guests, the ever fantastic Mr. Cammy and James Bell.
Always a pleasure, David.
If you want to hear more from us, check out our Patreon site, patreon.com/Heart and Hand, where you'll get around about 80 to 100 hours extra content a month for the miserly sum of $1.99. There really is no reason to go and check this out. You will absolutely love it. Thanks to our executive producers in London, Mr. Paul Myers and Mr. Mike Lee. I will be back to talk to you on Monday. Until then, have a great weekend, and remember, we are the people. See you later. Bye.